Hey, good evening, everybody. And how are you on this marvelous holiday Monday evening? Ha! And you thought you were getting away with not seeing me this evening, but I have other plans for you. So here I am. It's Monday night, Labor Day weekend, a day that's celebrated by labor unions all over the world. And here we are. So tonight I come to you at the Tessa-Marie show with a mission. I have this mission, and my mission is to enable you, to empower you to live a fulfilled life. My mission is to actually inspire you, just you. You're the one that's listening right now. You're the one that's here. You're that one that's on your way. You're the one that knows you're coming to the Tessa-Marie show, and you're going to press that button because you want to live a fulfilled life. What I know for sure is that I can help you with some answers, not all the answers. I can take you a little further than where you are. I can point you in the right direction, and I can be there to support you. That's what I do at the Tessa-Marie show. So when we talk about the Tessa-Marie show and the pillars of prosperity, we're talking about something that will help you to live a fulfilled life. So one of the things I want you to know is that you can live a fulfilled life if you do the things that you know for sure that will help you. If you take the time and put the effort into the ideas and the thoughts that come. But to live a fulfilled life, you need to embrace the 5 pillars of prosperity. Now, those pillars are really strong. If you do not know them, here they are. Mental prosperity, emotional prosperity, physical prosperity, spiritual prosperity, and financial prosperity. Amazing pillars, wonderful pillars. These pillars are not more important. Not one is more important than the other. They're like the fingers on your hand. Each of them play their part. They're different. Their sizes are different. Where they stand are different. What they do is different. But you need those pillars of financial prosperity to live a fulfilled life. So when you come to get those wonderful gifts that we offer to each other, is to know that with those pillars, if you follow them, you can live a fulfilled life. You can live a life where you will have a home of your own one day. You will own and drive the car of your choice. You will go on more than one vacations per year. And you will have a financial free future where you will not have debt holding you back. Just finances will come in and go, flow as money is supposed to flow in and out of your life. So tonight and all of this week is the 5 pillars of prosperity and the family. So you're going to say, Tessa-Marie, you have done the 5 pillars of prosperity and everything else. And now you're saying 5 pillars of prosperity and the family. And of course, there are those that are going to say to me, Tessa-Marie, last week you said it was the 5 pillars of prosperity and you. So am I not the family? No, you're not. 5 pillars of prosperity and the family is entirely different. It is so different. Because you are just part of the family. You is only a part of the family. A third, a quarter, a fifth. I was 1/9. I was 1/11, but when you included my parents. So I was just part of the whole. So when we did you last week, we were doing you, just you. But now we're doing the family. Emotional wellness, prosperity, and the family. So when we talk about a family though, we do not just talk about the husband and the wife doers or the two partners. We don't talk about the partners, we talk about the family. The 2 partners do not become a family until a child is born or a child is adopted. When that happens, then we have a family. So, where does emotional prosperity begin? When does it begin? That is the question. If you guys that are here tonight know when emotional prosperity wellness begins in a family. When does it begins for the people in the family? When? And if you think you know when it begins, write it down. Tell me when it begins. Emotional prosperity in the family begins when a child is on its way, or when the child is adopted, conceived, born. That's when emotional prosperity begins. That's when emotion starts to take action. So, all of us adults, our emotional standards were formed when we were little. Emotional social skills and the skills that are important for us children to develop. So those people that we have encountered, or those we know, or those we see, or those we heard about, that are emotionally wow. Do you know that their emotional standards started as a child, as a little baby child? That's where it started. So that's why it's important for us to have this discussion tonight. That emotional prosperity begins in the family when that child is born or arrives in the home. Adopted or born. That is when the children develop learning skills. What to do. What is a positive, they get positive reinforcement, positive relationship, including they have to have supportive parents. That's how our emotions are developed. So, as an adult, if we did not get that nurturing as a child to develop emotionally prosperous, how can we do that? How can we help those children that we are having or adopting if we do not know how? We need to seek help. Because the adult that flies off the handle at the little bit of stress or reacts in a certain way to information they just heard, had that embedded in them from a very young child. So when I talk about emotional prosperity in the family, I want you to know that it begins with those young children, the babies. Caregivers and teachers affects that. Do you know a teacher can affect that 4, 5, 3, 2-year-old emotionally? I know about that firsthand. And I took the bulls by the horn so severely they didn't know what hit them. I remember, and that's my story, my true story. My son Michael was 10 months old, had 2 sisters before him, so he was very aggressive. He stood up and walked, didn't know to crawl. He's at nursery school. I come to pick him up, and the teacher says to me that he was a bad boy. He's 10 months old, 10 months. And she has labeled him a bad boy, 10 months old. I said, lady, he can walk, he can't talk. Well, he won't go to sleep. He doesn't take his nap time. He's up, so everybody else is up with him. I cannot control him. He's really bad. I said, oh boy, do I have a problem on my hand. So in the car, I take Michael, and I have the worst, absolutely worst singing voice in the entire world. I do not hear the tunes, I do not understand them, I do not know the difference between alto or soprano, I do not know what a C, what an octave. I know nothing about singing and certainly about music. I can dance. Why, I don't know. So I got in the car. I will not sing because all of you will run away. And I started singing a song. I called him by his entire name. Michael Thomas Hugh Bethel is a good boy. And I started saying, he is an amazing boy. He's a brilliant boy. He's a smart boy. He's a handsome boy. He is he's good. He's wonderful. He's special. He's precious. I sang that every day from the time I picked that child up until I got home, until I found another place to take my son. Because if I had not nurtured that into him, only God and his angels knew what would happen to my son. To make it funny though, I think it went in his head really went in because he just thinks he's the biggest piece of thing since sliced bread. So obviously it worked. But I recognized it. To tell a child that they are bad at 10 months. Can you imagine he was going to that nursery until he was 3? And she kept saying that to him every time he did something wrong. Every time he was challenged. Every time he stood up. Every time something went wrong and he was the child there. Can you believe that? Luckily for me, God blessed the talent and the gift and a little bit of wisdom that I had at the time. I clocked in and I said, hell no, you are not going to destroy my child. And I picked him up and I sang that song with this horrible voice of mine, called his name, all his names. And I said, first thing I said, he's a good boy. You're a brilliant boy. You're an amazing boy. You're a handsome boy. You're a smart boy. You're sweet. I sang that all the way home because of that woman that said that to me. That one big mistake she made that day. She opened her mouth and she told that to the wrong mother. I had 2 choices, I could have slapped her into tomorrow, but I chose to just take my child, put him in his car seat, and sang him the best words I could put in his brain. And it succeeded. Because we must remember, guys, that is how these people we see that are losing their cool. These are the small things that are done to them. As a parent, as a grandparent, watch your words. When you prophesize these defeating words to children, it stays in their spongy little brain and they walk through life with it. I have an adult, 59-year-old person, and they still hurt when he says to me how his father told him he was stupid, you knew nothing. But you know what is the saddest, absolute saddest thing about this behavior? Guess what? He uses it now. He tells me with one breath that my dad treated me like dirt. He told me I knew nothing. I wasn't smart enough. I was stupid. He said if I won a hockey game and I was the goalie and I let one goal in, my dad didn't compliment me for winning. He told me, why did you let that goal in? That's what his father talked to him about. The one goal he let in, although his team won. But as I said to you, the saddest thing about that behavior from the father to the son, guess what? He uses it in everyday speech to others. He takes it and he doesn't even realize. He says it hurt him. He says it was destructive. And he says to people, they're stupid. They don't know nothing. I know everything. That's how he talks. I know nothing. They know nothing. I know everything. It's way above their head. I already know that. Look at this one. She's fat. Look at that one. She has knock knees. Look at this man. That is what this person did. So emotional prosperity and the family begins when that baby shows its head. It begins when that child is adopted. What they hear is what they become. As I said to you, when the lady at the daycare said to me, my 10-month-old son that was walking was bad because he did not like to nap. I don't even know if I saw anything after that. All I know, for some reason, somewhere in the back of my spine, there was something that said to me, Tessa-Marie, sing some good things to your son, please. Sing to him that he's good, he's special, he's amazing, he's smart, he's handsome, he's strong, he's intelligent, he's brilliant, and he's the best little boy God created. And I told you, if you hear my singing voice, all of you are going home and you're going to hold your ears, you'll be crying for weeks. My voice is that horrible. But I sang that to my son Michael, calling his names, all his Catholic saint given names. one by one, and I sang He Was Good. And I'm happy I did that. And I told you, I think it went into his head because he just thinks he's just the best. And he strived. But on the other side of the coin, I met this other human being, as I said, 59 years old, who is very, very vocal, bombastic, by telling me all what his father did to him. And I am listening. And fortunately for me, I was trained to listen with my brain rather than my ears. So I remember his words, his passion, his emotion. When he said to me, my father called me stupid. He said me, I knew nothing. I won the hockey game, but I let one goal go in, and that's all my dad talked to me about was that one goal that went in. He did not tell me, but you know, son, you still won. And then he would tell me the same thing about people. So the chain continues. Oh, he's a fool. He's stupid. That's how he described people. She's fat. She has a knock knee. The same thing he got as a child, he uses it. So that's why emotional prosperity must begin in the house when the children are little. It's never too early to start. They have to have emotional strength, emotional prosperity, because if not, they will be that 59-year-old man that thinks, although he hurts, and he still hurts from what his father did, he doesn't even know he's doing it himself. So a child has to have overall emotional support. We have to nurture them. We have to give them skills so they can work in this world that we live in. We have to teach them how to behave in a crowd. We have to teach them how to act when they hear information, how to process it. We have to teach them to take turns when they speak. We have to teach them how to interact with their peers and their leaders. We have to teach them that rules are not always supposed to be broken. That there's rules they have to live inside of it. That's emotional prosperity. Manage their emotion and their behaviors so that they are successful in managing it and putting it together. This person that was treated so badly remembers what his dad did, but he hasn't even realized he's doing the same thing. And these are the adults in the family. He is an adult. There will be adults in the family. So if you do not know what you need to do to be emotionally prosperous, how can you teach the children? That's why we have to find ways to teach the children when they're little, because one day will be adults, and we do not want a repeat of those old behaviors that children have to be. Children can be seen, not heard, and they're pounded on their head, and they're placed in a cupboard, and they're put in a dunce. We have to listen to them, teach them to listen to others, to follow the steps that they have to follow. Teach them to follow rules. Teach them to ignore the distractions. Make them understand distractions are there. Teach them to ask for help. You cannot navigate this world by yourself. Teach them that. Teach them that to take their turn, to wait for their turn, to get along with others, to be calm with others, and teach them to be responsible for their behavior. If they did something wrong, teach them that it is a bad behavior. It is not the best, but this is where you went wrong. I have stories. I come from a big family, and I listen when people speak. I try to really listen to you. So when you tell me you're hurting, and you're repeating the same hurt on others, that tells me you're not going to look for help. And that person doesn't follow rules. That person will not follow the rules as an adult. That I know for sure. I had to plead with that person to tell them to fill the census. Fill the form so that you can be counted as a human being in your country. Fill the census form. If you do not fill the census form, I said, you're going to be charged $500. Well, how will they get me? How will they get me? That's the attitude. So you see, that is why we have to talk with our children when they're smaller. That is why we have to show them affection and understanding and let them speak. Do not pound the word no out of them. When they say no, ask them why. Why do you say no? Ask them, Lord, why you say no. Tell me what is your reason for choosing to say no. That's what I mean. So emotional prosperity, last week was you the individual. But I am 1/11th of a family, 9 kids and 2 parents. Right? So think of you in that family. You are not the entire thing, but if each of you had taken one new thing from last week's entire show and use it, that would be cool. It would help. So what I'm asking you to do tonight is, if you have the opportunity to influence a child, make sure you're preparing them for the world. We do not raise children for ourselves. We raise them for the world. I have a friend, my friend Yuko, both her sons are away from her. My son, he graduated from University of Toronto on Tuesday. The Americans grabbed him because he did science, whatever, nuclear, and off he went. I couldn't raise him to stay in Toronto because the world, neither could Yoko raise her sons to stay in her city. She couldn't. So we have to equip them so they can survive in the world. And equipping somebody is to give them emotional strength, emotional prosperity. Let them know that it is important. It begins with the caregivers. It begins with the examples we give, social skills. It begins for us to show them how to honor themselves. And realize, do not let another human being abuse you or abuse you emotionally. So those pillars are not a joke. Somebody said to me, I am absolutely out of my mind, but I am not. I studied them, I prayed over them, I mentally dug into them. And that's why there's 5. And that's why we have 5 fingers, because we cannot hold a glass with 4. Try it. We cannot put it to our mouth with 4. And we can live without food, but we cannot live without water, can we? Can you cup water from a stream to drink with 4 fingers? Try it. And see how much you will have. So the pillars of prosperity, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial, they are all needed. None of them is more important than the other. But they stand to help us live a fulfilled life. So this tonight, Monday, is always emotional. And the whole week is you, the emotional pillars of emotional prosperity, and the family. This thing starts at the bottom. It starts at those people that are less than 2 feet long, in some cases, that rules our life when they come into the world. And that's where we have to start it. And we have to realize, if we felt we were treated badly by parents, do not repeat it. And if you catch yourself doing it, go wash your mouth with soap and fix it. Or use something worse than soap, I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is that we need to understand our job as adults is to give these children proper emotional support so they can survive in this new world. We do not raise children for ourselves, we raise them for the world. Equip them so they stand firm and they know and they're emotionally strong and solid. Not only to nurture them, to have it, but also for them to recognize when someone is trying to destroy them emotionally, that they can say, hey, stop it. Like when I saw the woman was ready to destroy my 10-month-old son emotionally by telling a 10-month-old child, you are bad, because he does not want to take a nap. We have to teach them to say no. We spent 10 out all their life before they leave our home telling them no. Even when we say no to a person or child, we should give a reason to that child. I am telling you no, you cannot cross the street by yourself because I love you very much and I would not want a car to hit you. But Mom, I do not want you holding my hand. I know that. But I want you to learn to hold my hand so when I get older, you can hold my hand and help me across the street. Anything for the moment to be pacified. That's our job as leaders and the people that are guiding these souls. So tonight, I hope you enjoy this. If not, can't help it. There we go. We gave a nugget, a couple pearls, and some pink, rare pink Canadian diamond. Which one did you get tonight? At the Tessa-Marie show, you always get a gift, which is your nugget. Something you didn't think about. Something you knew, and you kind of left it in a box. Something you knew and you lost it, but you just found it. That is the diamond. So the nugget is something you knew, but it needed to be shined again. The pearl, you took it and you placed it in a box, so now you need to find it and surface it and use it again. The diamond, you lost it. But I just told you where it is, so you have it. So sending you light and joy. Have a wonderful evening.